Hi, this is Kit with Scrapbook Warehouse. Today I'm going to show you how to do a scaling card, which is a card that could be simpler or more complicated depending on how much time you have and how many you have to make. I'm going to show you how to do the ornament shaker. First off, I use the Hero Arts Infinity dies. It's the nested frame cuts with ornaments. I also use Penny Black's North Pole treasure stamps. I pre-cut all of my elements to make it faster for you to watch. My first step is going to be heat embossing all of the snowflakes onto the front piece of my card. When doing this, you want to make sure you have a piece of paper folded nearby for you to put your embossing powder on over top. That'll catch all the extra so you don't waste any. If you've got a little bit of extra embossing powder in between your stamps, then just use a dry paintbrush to get rid of it. Then I used my heat gun to set all of the embossing powder. Just give it a moment to dry before handling it, or you'll end up smudging it everywhere. I wanted my card front to have a more complete look, so I used second generation stamping, which is stamping first on a piece of throwaway paper and then stamping back onto the cardstock. I'm not going to heat emboss that, it'll just leave a watermark look to fill in all the blank spots on my card front. Getting out my Tim Holtz stamping tool, I'm going to use the Stampers Anonymous Christmas set called Christmas Classic CMS 322. It's a great set of rubber stamps that print beautifully. I've used this on multiple projects now, and you'll definitely get your value out if you pick it up. You could use any sentiment for this as long as it fits within the ornament. In this case, I used two different sentiments and put them together. Once that's done, I wanted the linen backdrop to fit in a little bit better with the blue of the front card, so I used broken china on the oxide ink to just add a little bit of color. I start at the edge, even though they won't see it, just so that I don't get heavy-handed blending tool marks all over my work. You can use different colors if you want, or you don't have to do this step at all. It was just something that I preferred. You should always make cards exactly how you want them to look. The next step is putting on the acetate. One thing I had to be careful was to make sure that my adhesive was right to the edge so that it wouldn't show on the front of the card once the acetate was on. After I've placed it on, I'm going to use my anti-static powder pouch to just get rid of any cling for my sequins and glitter. That way they won't stick to the plastic. This was my very first time making a shaker card, so at this point I started to get pretty excited. Because the bauble that I'm using for the ornament shape is not a standard circle, I cut out a circle of foam and snipped one end of it. That way I could shape it around the edge and my sequins and glitter wouldn't be hiding in the back of the card all the time. Just using some glossy accents to glue this down. It will be quite movable once you put it on, so don't bump it because that gets glue everywhere, as I learned quickly. For the bottom point of the ornament, I used double-sided 3D foam tape, and I just trimmed the edges so that it would fit alongside the point of the ornament. It just takes a bit of fussing, but you'll get it pretty quickly. If you're worried about sequins or glitter coming out, just pop a little bit of the glossy accents between where the two pieces of foam meet, and then they won't escape at all. This extra bit of work can be avoided by using a round ornament instead of a pointed one, but I love the way it looks. You can't see the foam from the outside at all. So now it's time to start putting together. I pull off the backing on the 3D foam and add more glossy accents to the rounded foam circle. This is where me being a novice in shaker cards sort of became obvious. I got a little bit excited and used a bit too much glitter and sequins. You really only need maybe a teaspoon, but everyone makes mistakes. Your card's going to be pretty fragile for the first few minutes, so put your adhesive on the card backing and then attach the card front to it. I've got loads of friends who love glitter and sequins just as much as me, so they'll appreciate this when I send it to them. The final touch is a little silver ribbon that I've cut out from the die itself. I was actually pretty surprised how easy it was to do my first shaker card, but if you don't have the time, just use Versamark right on your cardstock and don't worry about embossing it. It'll make a great tone-on-tone watermark, and then you can go ahead and use Nouveau Crystal drops to make some pearls. A simple card for any occasion. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Please like and comment and let us know what you think. And as always, happy crafting.